So we just started a new Torah cycle. Back to the beginning. In the beginning. The story of creation, the story of humankind. And it's really interesting to think about what happened with the fall. The fall and the fallout. The garden and the first murder. Now, I read the accounts of Adam and Eve, and yeah, I know it's probably controversial, but nonetheless, I read the accounts of Adam and Eve and what they went through, the trauma that they went through after they were kicked out of the garden. They were homeless. I kind of look at it as they were homeless. Their one son murdered the other son. And in the account of Adam and Eve, it talks about how Adam was pretty resentful towards Eve. And this is just my pondering. I'm just thinking out loud here. So this week's Torah portion is on Noah and the violence and the Nephilim. And, the trauma. I mean, trauma is all through the scriptures, and it started in the garden. And the fallout. Like, you look at what happened in the Garden of Gethsemane and what happened in that garden. And the massive mental and emotional and spiritual anguish, physical trauma that Yeshua went through for us, for you, for me, for us. And the trauma. I mean, look around you, brothers and sisters. There's people in the throes of trauma. Trauma began in the garden. The fallout. The murder. And the account of Adam and Eve. It's almost as if the domestic abuse. That's when it started. Right? The blame game. The blame shifting. Not owning their stuff. And then in the account of Adam and Eve and the Apocrypha, it was where Adam was so bitter towards Eve. Well, he wasn't taking responsibility, right? He wasn't manning up. We're called to be more than conquerors. And sometimes I wonder if it's the generational trauma that we're supposed to be overcoming. Like, a lot of us have had to develop false selves and defense mechanisms in order to survive what was going on in our family of origin. And sometimes I wonder, well, is this actually what we're supposed to be dying to self? I'm not saying it the way I want to, but like, we're supposed to die to self, right? So that Yeshua can live in us. Well, maybe, just maybe, that dying to self is dying to the false self, the flesh, all those defense mechanisms, the toxic shame, the blame shifting, taking responsibility for our own recovery, recovering the manifestation of the fall. Sorry for all the noise. I'm at the lake. But these are just some of my ponderings. Wow, there's just so much going on behind closed doors that shouldn't be happening behind closed doors. And the children are watching. The children are watching, and they're learning how to be a man of God or a woman of God. or Elohim or Adonai or Hashem or however you're saying it nowadays. I have to keep it simple. You know, I got saved under the name of Jesus. You know, people cast demons out in the name of Jesus. So, anyways, just some ponderings. Shalom.